Good morning to everybody, and good morning to Cecilia Vega, our senior White House correspondent, in for Paula this morning. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
And the president is making some news this morning.
Is that unusual?
Yeah. No.
Overnight at an event honoring veterans, President Trump returning to what seems to be one of his very favorite pastimes, attacking the, quote, fake media. He's also been hitting Twitter pretty hard this weekend, in part to defend his use of Twitter. Some say it's not presidential, but Trump says it is modern-day presidential. And apparently this modern-day presidency includes another round of attacks on MSNBC anchors. President Trump calling host Mika Brzezinski dumb as a rock and Joe Scarborough crazy Joe. All this as we head into a week when the president will meet with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, an event that is sure to get a lot of attention, coming as it does in the middle of several investigations into Russian meddling in the presidential election. Our Martha Raddatz is standing by with all of the analysis this morning, but let's kick things off with ABC's Gloria Riviera, who is in Bedminster, New Jersey, where the Trump family is spending the holiday weekend. Gloria, good morning.
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Dan. That's right. The president taking a break here in New Jersey, but taking no time off from Twitter. He went back to Washington last night. That quick trip, by the way, costing taxpayers $180,000 an hour. But the president believing it was worth it to be with veterans, and also taking the opportunity to continue that derogatory diatribe against the press. This morning, President Trump is back at his New Jersey golf club after making a 2-hour trip back to Washington the night before to honor veterans ahead of Independence Day. But at that event, the president switching gears.
The fake media is trying to silence us, but we will not let them, because the people know the truth.
Publicly lashing out at the media mid backlash to his attacks on MSNBC co-hosts Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. In a recent tweet, the president calling them Crazy Joe and Dumb as a Rock Mika.
The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
His latest act as president defining his own social media habit, tweeting, "It's not presidential, it's modern-day presidential." Also on the president's radar, voter fraud, his push for states to turn over data, including voters' social security numbers and party affiliation, met with resistance. With at least 13 states flat out rejecting the request and more than 24 refusing to fully comply. The president taking to Twitter yet again, saying numerous states are refusing to give information to the very distinguished voter fraud panel. What are they trying to hide? But the president staying silent Saturday on the Senate's health care battle, even as Republicans spend their recess struggling to find common ground.
I'm sitting there with a Rubik's Cube, trying to figure out how to twist the dials to get to 50, to replace this with something better.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell there. Now, he says he hopes that Republicans can still repeal and replace Obamacare simultaneously. And he said he hopes he can maybe even get a Democrat or two on board. Now, there is work to be done, and there are 2 calls that have been added to the president's schedule today. Those are calls with the leaders of Japan and China. Those come in advance of that meeting this week between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. That as the FBI investigation into Russia goes on. Dan, Cecilia.
So much going on, Gloria. Thank you. Let's bring in ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz, who's in Washington, where she's going to be hosting this week, later this morning. Martha, good morning to you.
Good morning to you both.
So let's start with the news overnight. The president taking more shots at the media. In your view, is there a smart strategy here in that it fires up his base?
Well, I think he's certainly trying to appeal to his base. We talked to a lot of Ohio voters this week, and I have to say not a single one said, yay, let's keep doing those tweets. Some people weren't really paying attention. Others were saying, look, it's really juvenile. And these were part of Donald Trump's base. Most of the people I talked to were Trump voters, and they really didn't like this sort of level of tweeting. But he clearly thinks it works. And as he said, he's president. I'm not. You guys aren't.
And Martha, he's also been tweeting a lot about health care. The president's promise to repeal and replace Obamacare is stalled. The opposition over this plan right now, not just in Congress. You spoke with one Republican governor who's also got some pretty big concerns.
John Kasich, absolutely. He is very concerned about this. He talks a lot about, is this a negotiating strategy? What are they trying to do on the Hill? But he is very, very concerned. He is especially concerned. He certainly thinks Obamacare has some problems, but that they have to work it out. He said, you just can't get rid of this because you can't leave people without what they need. And believe me, a lot of people in Ohio, and they've got that terrible, terrible opioid addiction problem, need that help.
Many states are dealing with that opioid addiction epidemic. Martha, let me ask you about the meeting this week. President Trump is set to meet with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. What are the stakes here, given all these ongoing investigations into alleged Russian meddling in the campaign, and also the fact that a lot of people are asking questions about why President Trump, who's had tough things to say about many of our allies, has never really said many tough things at all about Putin?
Exactly the point, Dan, and I think that's what everybody will be watching. What does Donald Trump say to, in a way, please his domestic audience, those of us who have really been watching and wondering why he doesn't have harsher words about Vladimir Putin, and whether or not he will bring up that election hacking, of course, very important for what happened in the past and even more important for what Russia might do in the future.
And we will all be watching. Okay, Martha, thanks. And a reminder that Martha has a big show coming up this morning. She's got that exclusive interview with Ohio Governor John Kasich responding to President Trump's tweets and, of course, that battle over health care reform. That is all coming up not too long right here on ABC on This Week.